I got a lot to cover before we get to that point. First thing I do is I turn my phone off. I should have a desk here.
I should have a desk.
Yeah, you should. Okay. Why don't you introduce us at 7 o'clock?
Hey sports fans, we've got a Torah Talk tonight with playoff implications. Tonight's winner will go on to play the New York Jets next Sunday night, and the winner will go on to the playoffs. So this week's Torah portion is Vayechi, and it's the last Torah portion in the book of Vayechi, which is the book of Genesis. And then after we've concluded this Torah portion, we'll have a big siyum.
Yeah, see him later.
And we've invited all the leading Gedolim from the community, and we'll do the Hazak thing.
All right.
And just we're talking good times are gonna roll tonight.
And you're gonna have like some sort of hash brownies or something.
I detest marijuana and all illegal drugs.
They're not illegal here in California.
I detest them anyway.
Why don't you introduce me? Because I feel like a clod here. You know, you're not even mentioning who I am.
And this is Rabbi Herschel Rabbs Reamer.
How you doing? I see Bubba Metzia's in there. So hey, Bubba, how's it going?
And Ellen's in there.
Hi, Ellen.
And some mystery guests. Pimp Daddy.
Pimp Daddy.
And oh yeah, I want to talk about Michael Vick. Do you think that as Americans we should be rooting for Michael Vick?
Well, he's on Philly. I don't like Philly. Why should I root for Philly?
Well, because it's like he's a good role model for like, troubled dogfighting inner city black kids.
No, here's how. You want my take? Okay. I'm not gonna go out of my way to root for this guy.
Yeah.
Because but at the same token, I'm not gonna hate the guy.
Yeah.
Because of what he did, because he went to prison for it. He's already served his time. See, here's the thing. Do you believe in the prison system or not?
Yeah.
If you do believe in the prison system, and I'm not saying I do, because I don't, but if you do, then you gotta shut the fuck up here. Right? Because the guy served his time, so according to those who believe that the prison, you serve your time and then you're forgiven, like you're rehabilitated, or at least we don't hold it against you anymore, then you can't hold it against him. You make up your mind. Either you're going to send him to prison and you're going to shut up and forgive and forget, right? Mm-hmm. Or you're going to hold a grudge against him and you might as well not send him to prison.
So there are two NFL players who have killed people with like drunk driving. Dante Stallworth, who plays for the Baltimore Ravens, and Leonard Little,
he was on the St. Louis Rams that won the Super Bowl.
Yeah. So
I don't think that was drunk driving. I think he actually got into a bar fight or something.
Oh, got into a bar fight.
And he killed somebody. I think it was like somebody he knew.
Yeah, I think that's a little more serious than a little dog fighting.
Also, what's his name? The middle linebacker guy on Baltimore was there when
Ray Lewis was there.
When some guy got killed. He was at a bar fight and somebody got killed.
That's right.
America has a very short memory on these things. But they didn't put him on the Wheaties box when the Ravens won the Super Bowl in 2001. He was obviously the player of the game, but they had 5 guys from the defense, and he was mysteriously missing. Yeah. I don't hold it against Leonard Little. I don't hold it against these guys. You know what I'm saying?
What, for killing someone in a bar fight? Well, I don't know what the other side would say, but what about like a Dante Stallworth, like a traffic violation, killing someone?
That's bad. I don't know. You know what? But I believe in the justice system. If we're going to say that you serve your time and then we forgive you, then I got no problems. The question is America ready to forgive and forget when the person, admits to their guilt?
Who said anything about forgiving just because you've
Isn't that your question?
Time? No, there's nothing about forgiveness. I didn't get this idea that if they serve their time, then we forgive them and the slate's clean. They're still scum.
Whoa. Then the prison system is superfluous here. It's redundant. It has
It's to punish them.
And it's but they serve their time. Their punishment is done. The thing is, it's a case closed. Why do you still hold it against them?
Well, the sheriff of Toratown says it's not realistic to expect our athletes to comport themselves as though they were Shiva
Is that
walkers.
Chaim Amalek? Of course, you take whatever he says, and
And for Baba Matsiya, he announces there's this attractive girl at Hillel who just became single. So
that's big news.
there's a fist pump, Baba Matsiya.
Hey, can I start digging into last week?
Yes.
First person I want to dig into. I have a whole laundry list. I was very interested. I read the transcripts, you guys. You know, you can write whatever you want, but after the show, I read them all, and there was a lot of stuff that needs to be cleared up because there was a lot of misinformation that was put there. First person I wanted to confront was you, lady.
Okay.
Last week you said, and I thought about this a lot afterwards, that as a result of Protestant America, those raised as Christian, whether they be Catholic or otherwise, are going to be influenced by Protestantism, and they will be, they were the people that might likely tell you not to cry. And I brought the example of the woman who was Catholic who told me not to cry. And I was like, I haven't heard anybody other than her tell me not to cry. I mean, like, that's...
Stiff upper lip is not a Jewish phrase.
Okay. But then I thought about it after I went home, and I went, wait a minute, we got a problem here. That completely makes no sense, and I'll tell you why.
Mm-hmm.
My ex-fiancée was raised Christian. Mm-hmm. She grew up in a Christian home. Okay? I cried many times in front of her, and she never told me to not cry. She didn't. She cried herself.
So that's just one example.
Yeah, but you're the guy who just, finds anecdotal evidence, right, and, a few things right and left, and then you come up with big conclusions based on that. So here's one that slugs it all up.
Well, like some individual doesn't disprove a generality that, generally speaking, Protestants are more emotionally restrained than Catholics, and Catholics are more emotionally restrained than Jews.
I don't think so, and I'll tell you why. Catholics are Italians. Italians are like with the arms and the screaming and everything like that.
Some Catholics are British.
Yeah, they might be. I think it's more of a nationality thing, not a religious thing. I think Italians are very expressive and more expressive than Jews.
So the sheriff of Toratown wants to know if you date shiksas.
Wants to know if I date shiksas. He went all over with big bolds last week. Oh, Rabbs dated a shiksa. Rabbs dated... You know what? If you follow along every week, you know the whole story to that. And I don't really want to rehash it, but she was a wedding date, a wedding escort. Because I didn't want to go to this wedding, because it would mean going alone. So I needed someone to accompany me, and she was the only person that responded. I asked, if I remember the story correctly, I asked 5 Jewish women to go, and they all turned it down. We even offered to pay them and to pick them up and all this stuff. They didn't want to do it. But leave it to a nice Catholic girl to want to do. She was honored. She was thrilled to do it. She had a great time. So I don't think
I had a good time too.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not like a real date. You know what I mean? We weren't really interested in each other.
Just for the night.
No, it was just for the afternoon. The wedding ended and she left. That was it. It wasn't like dating for dating. It was just I didn't want to go alone.
Did they have mixed dancing at this wedding?
No, they had a mechitza the whole thing. My nephew's gonna love this because it didn't take 5 minutes. He's already got a plug. Because he listens to it all the next day. All right. So before they go, he tries to do character assassination. By the way, everybody, you need to know this guy, Sheriff of Toratown. His name, he doesn't even have a name. We call him Chaim Amalek. He used to be the Lakewood Raw, but he uses various aliases. He's a friend of Levi's, and he's a coward. He refuses to put his true identity down. Right. So when you're arguing with somebody on the internet, and they get the luxury of not showing you who they are, and you get in a fight with them, you can't win because you can't do any damage to them. They're like Teflon, right? Because they're cowards. He will refuse to put his real name there, right? But the folks in the chat room need to understand to ignore this guy. He's very ignorant when it comes to Judaism. He's not from, and he will try to portray himself as somebody who knows Torah, and he doesn't. I'm going to slug up a lot of his stuff.
Well, he says he's the sheriff of Toratown.
He's a coward.